now, the stadium is well and truly up in the air.
Like, this is just such a farce.
My concern is that we're not going to see this team play in their stadium in the first 12 months.
What are you guys doing? Like, we arranged all of this. It was done. It was sold. Things going well down south. Things going really well.
So, Monday, we get the team announcement, logo, nickname, jumper, colours for the team that's going to come into the AFL in 2028. The election is in a week's time. Right now, the stadium is well and truly up in the air. The Liberal government is currently in power. They signed off on this $715 million deal, with a large portion of that from the feds.
The priority for the new kid on the block is a new stadium on this very block. $715 million has been budgeted, and after some toing and froing, finally it's been agreed it will have a roof. Handy.
There's so many variables in building a stadium. We've had a reasonable history of doing it. Whatever the final configuration of that venue is, it will be a huge asset for our competition and obviously a jewel in the Tasmanian crown.
You cannot leave Tasmania off the map and call yourself an Australian Football League.
Now, we go into the election in a week's time. If Labor come in, they want to renegotiate the deal with the AFL.
That's what Rebecca White, the opposition leader, has said on radio, on the record.
At the AFL AGM last week, with all the presidents, CEOs and league commission, that was quickly knocked on the head. No chance. We've signed off on this deal. The AFL is going to put in over $350 million into funding into Tassie and grassroots footy over the next 10 years and the growth of the team. They need a roofed 23,000-seat stadium.
If Tasmanian Labor were elected at the next election, would you bin it, the stadium? Would you can
We would
it?
do everything we could to do that.
Labor says it still supports the Tasmanian team, though, and it's happy to test the AFL. The AFL today calling Beck's bluff.
We're not pulling out. The decision's made.
So if Labor come in, any chance of the renegotiation right now as it sits from the AFL is no-go. But this weekend, right now, marks 4 years to the day where this Tasmanian team is meant to come into the AFL. The odds of this stadium being ready in 5 years' time. So don't forget, as part of the negotiation, you can only have 1 year of this team being in the AFL before they have to enter and play at this new stadium at Mac Point.
And ideally, they start there.
Ideally, they start there. Yep. The odds of that are very slim.
That's not going to happen. Like, just might as well take that off the table.
Well, this planning process that's going on right now, separate to the election, is going to take 6, 12, 18 months.
Like, this is just such a farce.
So
the reason I've got a planning process. They don't even know where the stadium's going to be.
They know where the stadium's going to be, but there's still two different options being canvassed. They haven't even cleared the area where it's going to be. They may even need to fill in part of the water to build on.
Their first plan had it being built partly over water,
yeah,
and the engineers didn't realise that they would actually have to dig down into the water for it to be structurally sound.
That's correct.
Things going well down south. Things going really well.
So the odds of this team coming in and playing in its stadium inside the first 12 months are very slim right now. And stakeholders are telling me that this could see the team not come in 2028 and actually push back, which is every chance in the next couple of months, years before we actually get this team off the ground.
So can I ask you, can I take it one step further? What about it just not happening? Like, what if this election throws another spanner, Rebecca White wins, they go back to the AFL, hey, you know that deal, we don't really want to spend $600 million of our own cash, we sort of want to build hospitals instead. The AFL goes bad luck and then the whole thing falls apart.
There's always a chance, but I think we've gone too far down the path now for Tassie just to rip up this provisional licence they've been given.
I don't quite, other than there's the money could be spent elsewhere, I don't quite understand the government's perspective of, oh, well, we shouldn't pay for it. What do you mean you shouldn't pay for it?
Down there?
Yeah.
Well, the Liberal government currently in power, they signed off on this deal, but the Labor view, the opposition currently, is that Bellerive or another venue would suffice.
But remember that sorry, not to get too political here, but it's the sign that the Liberal government was thrown into turmoil that has only caused an election to be called 12 months early because
two of their MPs
left
and became
independents because of the concerns. I'm not sure that everything is stable in Jeremy Rockcliffe's government. And I think Andrew Dillon, and to some extent Gillan McLachlan, who's enjoying retirement, whatever it looks like, is probably sitting there going, what are you guys doing? Like, we arranged all of this. It was done. It was sold.
The only thing Brendan Gale is now, as we know, Carro reported this other week, is locked in to become the next chief or the first chief executive of the Tassie team.
Which is an amazing coup.
And he gets shit done.
He just gets shit done.
So the odds for me right now of this team falling over are slim. But for me, the odds of this team coming in as planned in 2028,
Okay, so that's an interesting point. So what does that look like? Because are you then concerned that it starts something like the Gold Coast did, where they were infamously training out of portables?
Yeah, well, and separate to the stadium, they've actually got their
High performance center.
home base. That's more advanced. Obviously, they need to come in before they bring the stadium in. But my concern is that we're not going to see this team play in their stadium in the first 12 months or longer, and that could force the team to get pushed back into 2029, 2030, and then anyone's guess if it goes longer than that.
Yep. And then I guess, so people would say, in argument to you, they would say, okay, well, what's the big deal? They play at Belrive for a year. No harm done.
And Launceston's the other key option.
It's a disastrous result because it's round 11. It's the middle of winter. They're playing a Friday night game against Collingwood. 8, 9, 10,000 Collingwood supporters have gone down to watch them play. It's 4 degrees. The wind chill makes it feel like -3. The Tassie team are getting beaten by 80 points at halftime.
The whole point of this is big Friday night games early in their career. The Tassie Devils, as we will find on Monday, they'll be named. People go to the dinner for City. Go to the City for dinner.
Or the dinner for City. Yeah. Sure.
On a Friday night, they walk down to the stadium. It's like Adelaide Oval. Belrive is 10, 15 minutes away by car.
Hang on. Did you just compare the Adelaide Oval proximity to the city to Belrive? And you have to cross the bridge.
No. I'm saying the Mac Point, the new stadium they want to build.
Sorry.
That's the whole idea, go for...
I apologise. Yeah, and it is that close.
And walk down.
Yeah, you go
to Salamanca.
Go for fish and chips at Muir's, walk out the front door after a couple of Carlton drafts and walk down to Macquarie Point. It would be awesome. It would be awesome. If you haven't been down there and you haven't got a sense of it, look it up. It's a cool little precinct. Battery Point, Salamanca.
And that's why this team can't go for any more than 12 months playing in a secondary venue.